All right, today let's start slapping the upgrades on this thing. You guys remember last video, this is a Ford F-150 that apparently was fixed and salvaged out due to one wire the guy needed to fix. So, and you guys can see the bumper has seen better days. The seller said that he hit a pole, but he had bought it that way, so. So we're about to fix all the damage on this thing. We got a new grill. We got a bunch of new parts for it, so let's just get straight to freaking work. All right, first of all, let's get these headlights replaced, and at the same time, naturally, we're gonna put the grill on as well. All these parts I ordered off of eBay and a couple ones off Amazon as well. It is incredibly inexpensive to upgrade parts on a Ford truck. I'm used to buying Mercedes-Benz parts for like newer Mercedes-Benz and stuff, and one small part for a Mercedes is about as expensive as all the parts you're seeing here. So let's just go ahead and get these headlights installed. I think for the set, it was around $250. And they're the upgraded version, kind of like, I don't know if they're the Raptor style, but they have the black housing, projector LED headlights, and the daytime running light and whatnot. So it should look really good. This obviously was the Raptor style upgrade for the F-150, so I'm not sure how all the black is gonna look on a silver truck, but it's gonna be better than you guys can see how much better it looks. Now this bumper here, what came primed, it's kind of a matte black whatnot. It said ready for paint. Obviously you're supposed to paint it. I just slapped it on. If it's primed, it's not gonna rust, and that's all I really care about, to be honest. And it looks good as it is, so I'm not too worried about it. The headlights, for being like $270 for the, or $260 for the set, honestly, these look absolutely fantastic. Those are apparently actually LED bulbs. They're probably just warm color LED bulbs that are pre-installed. So really $260 total for both headlights and all the lights and all that. No extra cost there. They look really nice. It's got the side marker lights on them and everything too. Very cool. The grille obviously looks a lot better than the other one did. The other one was cracked as well right down the middle, so it had to be replaced anyway. And I definitely I'm glad that I wired in these yellow running lights. I was on the fence whether I should wire them in or not, take the extra time, would I care that much after it was all said and done? And I'm definitely happy I went ahead and just wired those in. Also previously, this grill down here was missing, and it sure does look a whole lot better with everything, all the pieces where they're supposed to be. The headlights in the grill was not too bad to install. Headlights super easy, grill fairly easy. Bumper though was definitely a challenge. The previous bumper, you guys knew, he had hit a pole. Somebody along the line had hit a pole with the previous bumper, and so it was dented in, and it actually bent the little brackets that held the bumper on. And so how you guys saw it before, how it was kind of all hanging off like that, This bumper was doing the exact same thing when I installed it because the brackets were actually bent. The mounting brackets for this was actually bent. So what I had to do is while I was tightening the bumper down, the bracket and the bumper came to like a meet right there. I had to put like crescent wrenches in there and just tighten it down, and it worked out to line up the bumper just fine. So it was the cost of the bumper and 2 crescent wrenches for the bumper install. These were not any fun to install. I will say this truck we definitely believe is from Canada. It has kilometers per mile on the dash, and it's just kind of rusty underneath. So there was just a lot of rust underneath here, and it was a little bit warped because I suspect somebody actually had some of these side steps on there before, but they took them out. So some of the metal under there was actually a little bit bent, and it was really hard to install those brackets for those footsteps. But it all worked out in the end, and a little bit of American ingenuity, solved all the little problems that it had, and I honestly couldn't be happier with the result. It looks absolutely amazing. And we also took the time to take this thing into a shop to get all the fluids checked, transmission checked, kind of just a general inspection, and the repair bill for this thing was not pretty. All right, so to preface this, the repair bill and taking it to a shop and everything, you guys remember that the brakes were pretty soft. If you went full brake, you would never lock up the wheels. Like it just pressed to the floor and you'd kind of just coast to a stop. So that was definitely something we needed to check. And I didn't want to bleed the brakes myself. Honestly, I have not done that enough to know exactly how to do it and not spend 7 hours on it. So little things like that. Spark plugs, I know this truck had not been tuned up for a while. You could kind of just tell when you open the engine bay and looked at it, you could tell like no one has probably touched this thing for the life of the truck. So we decided to take it into the shop kind of just for a basic tune-up. They did spark plugs, they did transmission fluid, they changed the oil. I was gonna do that myself. I had it all in the truck, but they ended up just changing the oil since it was all there anyway. But let me just go down the list because it really stacked up and added up really fast. I thought a basic tune-up would probably be like $500-600 or something. That seemed reasonable to me. Ended up being $1,600 for all of what they did. And it doesn't really seem like that much that they did, to be honest. Anyway, so let's go through the list real quick. I'm just gonna rapid fire real quick. All right, so check fluid leaks and a quick check over, that was $95. Oil change using customer parts, that was $80. Flush old brake fluid, that was $273. Drain all fluids from the differential. Replace pinion seal, reinstall rear diff cover assembly, add fluids, blah, blah, blah. $119 for that. Automatic transmission service includes remove pan, replace filter, pan gasket, and new fluid. That's $119. Spark plugs, remove and replace, labor and parts was $345. Like, I guess it all makes sense. It's pretty much what I'd expect per itemized service, but it just added up so fast when we were on the phone with the shop and he was like, total is gonna be $1,665, blah, 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 blah. I was like, excuse me, sir, I don't think you got that total right. So that definitely took me by surprise. So that's like the big services. There's also a bunch of little stuff, brake fluid, and there were some parts and whatnot that they had to use, spark plugs, all the fluid costs, that kind of thing, gear oil, differential, friction modifier, who knows. Anyway, so that's like a bunch of like $35, $60, $15 little expenses here and there, but there were like 10 of them. Basic service was $1,663.88. And I guess the question now is, how does it actually drive? My wife drove it home because it's kind of her truck. She wanted a truck more than I did, to be honest. But I'm gonna jump in, make sure it all feels good still. If it hopefully feels better, especially the brakes. Engine seemed like it ticked and kind of was down on power. I don't know trucks all that well. I don't drive them that much. But it feels like it wasn't all that fast for being a freaking 5.4 V8. I'd expect it to do something a little bit more impressive, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and just jump in the truck and see if it's any better. I really hope it is, especially braking. Like if somebody pulled out in front of you, there was no way before that you'd be able to slam on your brakes and have you actually stop before you smashed into them with like a freaking 4-ton truck. Let's do a quick test here. Definitely sounds a little better. It definitely sounds smoother. It sounded choppier before for sure. Let's just hammer it, see what happens. And then hit the brakes. That's better than it was, but still not perfect. It just, the pedal just goes down too far. I don't know what it is, man, but it definitely is better than it was before, so, you know, that's better, I guess, right? I'm gonna slam on the brakes. Oh, it definitely stops you a lot faster. Yeah, it definitely stops you a lot faster. Much, much, much better. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot better. Slamming those brakes, whole lot better, whole lot better. It still doesn't feel super fast. Obviously, I'm used to sport cars and whatnot, but definitely better than it was, so that's all I really care about. And the nice thing about taking it in for a full service, basically, all the fluids changed, is I don't have to worry about this thing anymore. Because right when I bought it, I knew the oil was a little low. I didn't know the status of the transmission fluid or if a lot of it had leaked out and it was low, you know, to where it would damage the truck potentially. So it's kind of just one thing to have off my mind, you know, knowing the truck isn't just gonna blow up because of low fluids or something from the previous owner. I haven't seen these headlights yet, and they look really nice so far in the twilight. I do need to adjust them. I can tell they're a little high, but besides that, I'm really happy with how this thing's turning out. And I think the truck is honestly 100% done at this point. I don't foresee myself doing any more work to it and kind of just using it as a hauler. I really like how this thing sounds too. It's definitely not loud in the cabin at all, but like you can hear it. Like it's really nice, low freaking rumble to it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, dude. I'm happy with it. I'm definitely more happy with it now than, I don't know if it was worth $1,600, but who knows? It may have been worth it. Maybe $1,600 saved my life. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. Probably the last video on this truck, to be honest. You're gonna see it obviously in the background of a lot of other videos, and we have something real special coming real soon. Dude, I'm so excited. This is probably the most excited I've been for pretty much anything in my life. It was supposed to happen today, but it didn't. There's still tires coming in for the car. I can't say too much, but we're buying a new car and they didn't have the tires in for it, which they were supposed to already have installed, but they didn't. So a lot of exciting things coming on that soon. I'm pumped. I'll catch you next time.